This is how I did not trick my husband. A lot of people get into marriages for economical gains. A lot of people get into marriages for immigration gains. And this is going to be one of those videos that is going to open your eyes a little bit because, according to some of the people in the comments, the lady who was very rude to me while I was getting my citizenship was being a mother to all of those men in despair that don't know how to identify a trickster from a woman that really loves them. If you're new here, hi, my name is Flor. I am Cuban and I live in Jamaica. And the reason why I live in Jamaica is because my husband is a Jamaican. Did I ever had the desire to move to Jamaica? No. Did I ever dream about going to Jamaica? No. Did I ever say Jamaica is the land of my dreams? No. Did I ever think that I will be married to a Jamaican? No. Love just happens sometimes. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter who your parents are, where you work, where you live, the color of your skin. It doesn't matter. Love just happens. Sometimes love don't happen for the two people them simultaneously. Sometimes love happen for one person and then there's this other person who want to take advantage. Sometimes love happen for both, but one of them not to trust the other, especially if that other has a huge stigma attached to. So for those of you who think that my husband just take up himself and marry me and carry me to Jamaica and him just lucky so, this story is for you because nothing no go so my friend. It was not that easy and simple for me. Mister, the boy interrogate me. The boy interrogate me from left, right, center, from, back, upside down. Pure interrogation from day one. And that's why I always say to people, there are relationships and relationships. A lot of people in the comments were saying, oh, she was just trying to do her job to make sure that it was not for business because a lot of people do it for business. But she had our entire story. A lot of these people who are marrying Cubans or marrying people from other countries and carry them to their countries, it's a brand new relationship and they don't do their due diligences. And I'm going to share with you a few diligences that my then 19-year-old Jamaican husband applied to me. We met, right? He was going to school in the province, and I am from country. However, I had to travel to her province where he was at school because I was working there and I was also going to study at the university where he was. I was going to the school to study at the library. I wasn't attending class. After we were talking for about 2 weeks or so, he had asked me where I lived, and I explained to him how my town looked. I give him the name of my town. I give him directions. Remember, back then there was no cell phone, no technology, especially in Cuba, nothing like that existed. I said to him, I explained to him where I live. I show him told him directions. You come off here, then you walk down, or you can ask for such and such granddaughter. And people in the community know me. They know everybody in my family. So me go, I work, we come back to my yard, we go in my yard, and I start washing by hand. My grandmother never had a washing machine, so I was washing by hand. And I'm standing the house, like the front door of the house, you can see all the way to the backyard. So I was in the backyard in line with the kitchen door and the front door. So I was there washing, and my auntie, rest in peace, my beautiful auntie, I love you. My auntie come to me and say, Niña, hay un hombre allá afuera buscándote. So she's like, hey baby, there is a, she called me Niña. Niña, it's because, although I was a big woman, hay un hombre allá afuera buscándote. There's a guy out there looking for you. And I'm like, a man looking for me? Me frightened. I had no, like, I was clueless of what was going on. Clueless. So when my auntie moved to one side, like I was washing like this, right? I was washing, like looking down. And when my auntie moved to one side, and I go so and look, because the door was in that direction there. I was so angry. Look, I know my boyfriend that pan the front door. I was like, Jesus Christ, me almost, the palm almost drop, sub drop, me almost faint, my leg them a tremble, me just, me don't even know, I'm like, what this man are doing in my yard? No, sir. I went over there and I hugged him and I kissed him. He was black, everywhere stained in black, like him did a do a coal kit. You know when you do the coal mountain, horno de carbón in Spanish. I'm like, what are you doing here? He said to me, hola. So he followed the instructions I gave him and he hitchhiked and then he got in a truck that carried him to a run town. He had to come back. Then got another truck that carried him to another run town and come back and then come off in a town. And one of them trucks that he got, it had burnt cane in it, and that's why he was all black all over. Mister, what a surprise. My family was not happy at all. My grandmother blood pressure rise. My neighbor come over. Everybody saying, I believe, what is this man doing here? Because he was a foreigner, right? And they were very protective of me, my reputation, and who I was. Remember, I explained before, and if you haven't watched this video, go ahead and watch it. There is a big stigma on girls in Cuba that date foreigners and they are looked at as prostitutes. So my family was very protective of my image. They didn't want anybody to, think that I was that type of person. So I said to him, you cannot stay, you have to go back. So we tried to find a neighbor who had a vehicle to go back to the province where he was staying. But the point of this story is this: why do you think that he did that? Do you think that he just showed up because he loved me so much and he missed me and he couldn't spend another hour without seeing my beautiful face? That is what I thought at the moment. That is what I thought at the moment. But I was wrong. He was testing me, my dear. He was confirming that I was who I told him I was, that I live where I told him I live, that I had the family I told him I had, and that I had no Cuban man put down in a me yard. Do you think this is the first and last test? Take note. Take note. Take note. And remember, I had a job. I had my savings from my previous job. I never asked him for anything. I taught him how to save money, how to go the Cuban route and not the foreigner route, how to buy things on the Cuban market and not the US dollar market, how to take Cuban vehicle versus foreigner vehicle. So I taught him a lot of tricks, a lot of things that you can do to save money while you are in Cuba so you can live a little better life. You can go little getaways and you can eat better food and save money. So it was very clear from the beginning to him, and this is the conversations that we have had, years after. It was very clear to him that I had no interest on any monetary gain because he was just a student. Last night I was watching the Jamaican pop the balloon. And I don't know if it was a joke or what, but Russian music producer in Russia was there in the pop the balloon. And they say, you have any questions to ask the girls? And usually they ask, what's your zodiac sign? What is your type of man? What is it? But Russian was asking some serious questions, up to the point that I had to Google how old he was and what school he went, because him just remind me of my husband too much. All them questions that a Russian ask, my husband would ask me, like, he's like, if your man there a prison for 25 years, will you wait for him? If a man pay you $1 million to be with him, will you rather with him? If Enrique Iglesias land in a helicopter here right now, would you go away with him? Mr. De Amo, and this was not like on the first date. This is like throughout the relationship. And then I will get the same question, and just to see if I'll give the same answer. It was like I was passing the SATs for one whole year. As soon as we made it very official, I moved in with him because it was easier for me to live in the province than to have to travel, every day. So I moved in with him, and that's another story because the place where I was staying with him, the lady, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, my YouTube tribe, I have to tell you that story. I just remember about that story. The lady that owned the house where we stayed. Remind me in the comments to tell you that story. I have to tell you that story. So we moved from that province to another province, and he went to Jamaica for the Christmas holiday because we had decided that, we were going to get married and whatnot. So he went to Jamaica, got the paperwork that he needed, um, and so forth and so on. In tell me say, he might come back say the 21st, right? And this is something very serious. Back then, if you buy your ticket and whatever, you say me I come back the 21st, you are come back the 21st. Okay, so I was by myself living in that nice little studio contained apartment in that nice province there. And me go at the dance studio, go rehearse my choreography with my dance group. And I tell my friend them, no, me nah go get no ice cream today, because my boyfriend I come back tomorrow, and me I go over there, so go clean the apartment, go tidy up, powder the place and make sure place nice and clean, because he's always been a very organized person. So me just go over there, so go cleaning. So uno go on. So we go downstairs now from the dance studio. I felt somebody grab me on my waist and kiss me on the cheek. And I go, so, I know my boyfriend that. Mr. Mit, like, I did not recognize him. Like, I was seeing him and I knew it was him. But, like, in my brain, I'm like, what? And I was like, so my friends was like, oh my God. And so she was just telling us that she was going to go over there, go clean because her boyfriend was coming. Everybody come, he surprised her. So he had come in a taxi. He had taken a taxi from the airport straight to the dance studio. Okay. Because he knew that if I was really a dancer at the dance studio and I was doing what I told him I was supposed to be doing, I would be there at that time. Okay. So everybody commotion and everything, and oh my God, and I was like, well guys, I have to go, I have to let. They're like, yes girl, go, oh my God, this is so sweet. Everybody was so excited because this is something that you only see in the movies. So the entire ride in the car was like, oh my God, what a surprise. And then in my brain it's like, oh my God, he surprised me, and he loves me so much, and oh my God, and he just can't live without me, and oh, this is it, oh my God, after a year, yes. The man one confirm, and he confirmed. So that same day, in a well apartment, although we knew we were going to get married, he got in one knee and he proposed to me. That's another whole story, because that is part of the how we got married story. But I give you a little sneak peek. But that, along lots of compromising. When you love somebody, you have to compromise on a lot of things. And we had a lot of cultural differences that it was a little bit difficult for him to comprehend. And I was willing, and I did give up on a lot of those Cuban customs that um, he did not agree with at the time. So, because I loved him, because I was in love with him, I will just do things like that. So it was a long year, it was a long SAT year, but these are things that build trust in a couple. And I don't know if there is an official guide to this, But there are many things that you can ask your partner to have that reassurance on their intentions with you. And again, we were in Cuba living together for a whole year. So for somebody to take up themselves and invest a whole year of their life to go through everything that we went through to get married, because it was a lot to have my family not in agreement with us being together to begin with. Those are things that will give you a hint as someone marrying somebody from another country that maybe they want you for more than your stay. Maybe this is really serious. Maybe this is fit through the person that you're going to be spending the rest of your life with, right? So maybe they're being honest, you know. So these are little things that you can do. I was sharing in the comments the story of a Cuban girl that I know of. I met her in person and I met her Jamaican husband, and they met and they got married in 4 months. And she was in Jamaica in 4 months after meeting him, and he will follow her everywhere. He will follow her everywhere she went. That was very weird. She met a Cuban man in Jamaica and she going to America with him. Many stories, countless stories. Did anybody go through a process of having a long relationship? Did anybody do their due diligences? No. I get DMs to this day. To this day, I get DMs of people asking me my opinion. Oh, I met this Cuban girl online. What you think? Oh, I met this Cuban man. What you think? Oh, I met this Cuban man, and he's telling me here this no that once a Cuban man leave Cuba, him can come back to Cuba. That is a lie. How my father left Cuba? How my cousin come visit? My second cousin come visit, and everybody go back to Cuba. Actually, I have three male cousins who have come to Jamaica come visit. Yes, Cuba is a different place. Yes, Cuba is weird. But if you meet this girl online and she's in her 30s and she has a child and she doesn't have a job and she sends you pictures of her at her house with holy drink on the table. And if you don't have like a work, where you find the money? If you buy beer, it is extremely expensive to buy liquor in Cuba. Life in Cuba is different. Okay, getting work, the pay that you get, your lifestyle, all those things have to match. Yes, there are cases and cases. And yes, there are Cubans who marry people for the stay in a country. That is where this whole stigma come from. It's not a made up story. You have to take your time if you're serious about having a relationship. And this is a Cuban or anybody, because as I said, this is something that happens. It could happen to somebody from another country with a Jamaican. It could happen. It could happen to you with a French, a Canadian, anybody who is having an intercultural relationship. This can happen to you. This can happen to you where the person can just have another person and just run away. Like they're telling you, hey, I'm lying to you. Or hey, you don't know me, you don't know who I am. So the story that was left in the comments, right, was that this Jamaican man married this Cuban, went through hell to marry her in Cuba, carry her to Jamaica, and as soon as she reached the airport, at the airport, instead of going to him, the man who carried her, come to Jamaica, she went to a Cuban man that was in Jamaica waiting for her. That is horrible. That is what? How can somebody be so heartless? Me say I could not believe me I when I was reading the comments. But you think that could have happened to my husband the day when I arrived at the airport and them call for him name for me, and I would have another Cuban man desta after a whole year. First of all, no, no, that could have. Listen, he would have realized and smelled that 20 years before that year. And our relationship would have never happened. So, uno have to do, you have to do your due diligences. You have to ask your questions. You have to meet the family. If you are serious about a relationship, with a foreigner, show up unannounced. That will be your best confirmation. That will be your best confirmation. And of course, to meet the family, to meet the friends, like he met all my friends. All these things take time. Don't rush it. If a Cuban or anybody from any country is rushing you into moving to their country, something not right. Because I never ever tell my husband, me want to go to Jamaica with you. He asks me if I will go to Jamaica with him, and I say, yeah, if the time come, yeah, because me love you and me want to be with you. So, you know what I'm saying? So, do your due diligences. Do not stereotype. Do not put everybody in the same box. We are all different. Don't blame others for your mistakes. Don't expect immigration officers to mother and baby you and do your work for you. Do your own research, get to know your partner, question them front, back, up, down, left, right, and center to get to know them. That is if you know you have good intention and you want a long lasting relationship. This has been a relationship advice video. If you are planning on having an intercultural relationship with anybody from another country, I really hope that this video helps so that you don't get scammed and your heart broken. If you have any friend who is dating outside of their culture, if you have any friends dating outside of the country, if you can share this video with them. Not everybody is a jinetera or jinetero. A lot of people will fall in love with you. And I am here. You can DM me, you can message here, you can, share your situation, and I can give you little hints, can give you little tips. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts if you think that this only happens between Jamaicans and Cubans. And thank you all so much for watching. Mucho love.